this is the gearbox to my Viper. I've already made a few changes from the last video. That setup actually worked, but I had like a few better like upgrade parts, so I decided since I had them, I should go ahead and put them in. I switched out to an SHS air nozzle rather than the HC, because for some reason the HC nozzle had a slight tip upwards, and I didn't know if that was going to affect the travel of the BB. And I went with an SHS cylinder head, and as you notice here, I had to do some dremmeling work because the holes are not large enough for a G&P gearbox. They're fine. I've used them in a classic Army gearbox, and they fit fine. But I think, like I said earlier, the hole here is just slightly larger. It's too big for the holes, so I had to do about 10 minutes of dremmeling work, and as you can see, I wasn't so great, but that's okay. It's just cosmetic. When the gearbox is put together, you won't see that. This is an HC, I think it's HC or ZCI cylinder, and I'd gotten these from Brill Armory, and they're so like smooth inside, like friction free, that I decided to change this instead of the stock G&P brass one. And I figured if it had less friction, then it's going to help with rate of fire and overall just efficiency of the gun. But one thing that I had to change, out, was the bore inside of the cylinder was actually slightly larger than the stock G&P. So I had to replace the O-ring. Whoa, parts are falling off my desk. I had to replace the O-ring, and this is an SHS. Actually, this is a Super Shooter piston head. I had to replace the O-ring because the stock O-ring on this piston head did not create a seal. It was slightly too small for this cylinder. And the other thing was, this is actually the 14-tooth piston. And what I found was that the 15-tooth piston would actually get caught up here. It would get caught up in the gearbox here, and it wouldn't go beyond this. And I could have dremelled either the gearbox or the piston, but I didn't want to do that. And I had a 14 tooth, and the body must be slightly different because it's goes back and forth like no problem. As you can see, it goes back and forth no problem. And the 15 tooth would get jammed up right here, right where it started again, right at the window. It would just stop right there. And I don't know why, and I tested a couple of 15-tooth pistons, and they all stopped right there. So, I went ahead and just switched it out because this caused no problems. Another thing I did was I ended up taking another tooth out of this sector gear. So it's a total of 3 teeth, short-stroked. Because I actually did have, I tried the gearbox with the parts that I showed in that earlier video, and it seemed like, well, for one, it was just maybe too strong. The FPS seemed too high, probably because, I improved I replaced that really crappy piston head and O-ring. That whole assembly, G&P stock assembly, was bizarre. It just created no air seal. So when you improve it, when I switched out the parts, I think it just created maybe too much FPS. I wasn't able to chrono, but anyway, yeah. And it also seemed like it was you know, I was getting like too much like I was possibly getting pre-engagement, so I just went ahead and took off another tooth. So that's 3 teeth short stroked. And like I was saying, I was gonna try and use the stock G&P spring guide, but actually it had no, you know, the bearing was missing, and it had a spacer, just like a washer, but either I misplaced the washer or I don't know, I just couldn't see it. Maybe it just got stuck to the spring guide. So and I had these, and they're good, you know, they're nice and fancy looking, and it's got a bearing. So what I did was the thing was that you know, the G&P gearbox is very tight, or only has a little bit of space here, so I went ahead and did some dremeling, and it didn't take long. Actually, it was a lot easier than I thought. I just got it to fit like in that groove. You know, you'll have to Dremel. You'll have to Dremel to get the you know, this part here. You'll have to Dremel it to get it to fit into that little groove. So anyway, this is just like, you know, another slight upgrade to my G&P Viper, and when I put it together again and get it running, then you know, I'll give you guys a listening to how it hears. And I don't know if I'm gonna run it. This is an X high-tech motor, which I picked up off of EB Airsoft, and it was, I mean, it's an amazing motor. You know, it looks like when I first got it, I was kind of suspect of it, but it's actually a very good motor. And this is a high torque SHS, which I just recently purchased. So I'm gonna run it with one of those. And anyway, yeah. So this is the result of the modifications that I made to my G&P gearbox. And another modification that I did was some dremeling. You're able to fit in the 9.6 nunchuck style batteries in this stock if you Dremel out the pieces, because they come, this part here, this accessory tube here, comes looking like this. It's solid, and this is from the Sentry, because you can use nunchuck style batteries in the Sentry stock. If you Dremel this, you know, which these come like, if you Dremel this piece to look like this, then you can fit the 9.6 batteries in there. So that's what I did, and it did take a little bit of time, but anyway, you know, when you close it up, it's nice and clean. You know, you can close it up, stuff the wires in there, close it up nice and clean. But you know, one of the results is that you are stuck with that battery pack. You know, hold on, I'm gonna close it up. You gotta slip it on. So you just slip it on there, but then, you know, you're actually stuck with that battery pack, because it's not practical to undo the screws here, change out the battery, etc., etc. It's just not practical. And as you can see, the receiver is the Viltor type for the Viper. I think I got one of the last few from Evic. They still sell the G&P Viper, but this, you know, the Viltor no longer is there. It's the G&P icon or whatever label, which I think doesn't look that great. and it's still $480, which is kind of expensive. For $480, I would like the trademarks. But anyway, that's what that sounds like. Yep. So this is what it sounds like. Freshly charged 9.6 G&P batteries.
I need my money pronto. Get it in the morning like a Lonzo. Green got cheese like a nacho. If you ain't got no ass, wear a poncho. Seat back. Don't get bapped. Got my shirt off, the club 2-pack. It's 2-turn going up like gas. God damn, pull out my rag. Mike Jackson, nigga, yeah, I'm bad. Rat-tat-tat-tat, it up in my bag. All the hoes love me, you know what it is. Rack City, bitch, rack city, bitch. Rack City, bitch, rack city, bitch. Rack City, bitch, rack city, bitch. 10, 20s and the 50s, bitch. Rack City, bitch, rack city, bitch. Rack City, bitch, rack city, bitch. Rack City, bitch, rack city, bitch. 10, 20s and the 50s, bitch.
And lastly, this is how it looks all put together.
Rack City, bitch, rack city, bitch.
I'm running it at this point with just a metal magazine with the Ranger plate put on there. Of course, the Magpul ones, they look great on this gun too. I don't like solid black guns, so I put the ladder rail covers. These are actual, these are genuine Magpuls. I got them off of eBay. They're hard to find, I think, or the real ones are. Or you can find them. Let me correct that. You can find them, but I got them for cheap. Somebody on eBay was getting rid of them, like a 4-pack for like $20, but I haven't seen that deal anymore. I'm running it with a replica T1 sight with a LaRue style quick release. If you notice in here, I've actually, this hop up is from Super Shooter, and it's one of the few hop ups that will fit the gearbox, because one of the other peculiarities of the G&P gearbox is the hole where the nozzle is very small. So, for example, I had a Lonex hop up, and it wouldn't fit. The part here on the hop up was just slightly too large. I mean, by millimeters, and it just wouldn't fit. So, if you're going to, you know, upgrade your gearbox and or your hop up, you have to like be careful which ones fit and which ones don't. So this is about it. Like I said, I think I got one of the last ones with the actual Viltor trademarks. They still sell this Viper on Evic, but now it has the G&P trademark, which I think doesn't look as great, or doesn't look as cool. This is the Magpul AFG Generation 2. It's just a replica. This came with the gun. This is awesome. It's a Viltor flash suppressor, flash hider. They don't come with the... My Sentry didn't come with that. I don't think they include it anymore, but it's really cool. It's got the Viltor trade. I'm running it with a PEC box. This is just some generic one I got off EB Airsoft, but it's the green laser type. It's a very powerful laser. It's daytime and you can still see it. And let me just see. Yep, that's what it sounds like now. Yeah, it's fully auto. And that's the difference. And that's it. That's my modified G&P Viper.